I grew up as a Marine Corps brat. So my stepdad is a Marine. I also have a brother that is currently in the Marine Corps, and my spouse was in the Army. He's a veteran now. It's a wonderful feeling to just be able to support the people that are in the military and have a place for them to come where they feel welcome, because it's hard to feel at home when you're always moving around.
I am a 26-year Army spouse. My husband retired from the Army about 3.5 years ago. As a military spouse, one of the things that I most often had to do as we moved was reinvent myself. So when I started with Starbucks, and store managers and regional directors all said, we can move this job with you, that was huge. And that was definitely an incentive when we started with the military initiative and we dedicated the store to talk to spouses that were looking for that career portability.
People don't understand how hard it is to be a military spouse sometimes. I go through many hardships, overcoming things that most people won't know unless they're military spouses.
When you are moving and you're a spouse of military, you never have to worry about losing your job. You always have a place to be and a place to go with Starbucks. Cheers.
We're here at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs for Veterans Day weekend, something I care passionately about. I think it's important to point out that companies that hire lots of veterans tend to be companies that are well run. More on that later. For now, I want to talk about Starbucks, which has done more to support vets than nearly any other company I follow. Last year, the coffee shop chain committed to hiring 25,000 veterans by 2025, and they recently hit that goal 6 years ahead of schedule. Now, Starbucks has given up that kind of long-term forecast. They're simply planning to hire 5,000 vets per year. And they're not doing this out of charity. That's what's really important. Listen to me. They're doing it because former service members tend to be phenomenal hires. Do not take it from me. Let's hear from Kevin Johnson, the president and CEO of Starbucks, to learn what his company's doing for vets, and also let's find out what's going on in Starbucks itself. Mr. Johnson, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, Kevin. Have a seat. Real guy. Now, I have to tell you, some of those people are your own people that are cheering, Kevin.
Well, Jim, we've got some Starbucks partners who proudly wear the green apron. These are veterans and military spouses, and they're wearing the patriotic apron, Starbucks.
Congratulations to them, and thank you for your service. Your company does not talk. You walk about hiring veterans. Too many people sit right there, and they tell me, yeah, we got a commitment. You do more than that. You make it so that these people are the most, I say, that this is the real path for greatness, put food on the table, but also move up in the organization. Talk about the 25,000 vet and military spouses, what you did and what you're doing now.
Well, this idea to hire veterans and military spouses came from Starbucks partners who were veterans and military spouses in 2013. In Starbucks, they formed a group called the Armed Forces Network. They got together and they noticed there were a lot of veterans who had served multiple tours of duty who were returning to the United States and returning to civilian life. And they said, we can do something to create jobs and opportunity for these veterans. Now, in 2013, we had Secretary of Defense Bob Gates on our board. And so in classic Howard Schultz style, with encouragement from Bob, he embraced this idea, and we set a goal for ourselves to hire 25,000 veterans and military spouses. We now are above 26,000, and we're at a run rate of more than 5,000 a year. And Jim, they make us a better company.
And that you have 62 military family stores. Tell us about that.
Well, our Armed Forces network of Starbucks partners also suggested, let's build some special Starbucks stores near military bases where service personnel are stationed and their families, because this gives them a place to create community with one another, but also communities that they're a part of. And so we now are at 62 of these military family stores. We bring veteran services organizations in on occasion in these stores to help connect veterans with the services that are available to them. And we're now on a path to probably build over, we'll have over 130 of these stores in the next 2 or 3 years.
Now, Kevin, you look at numbers every day. Yes, let's cheer for that. My bad. Wrong moment. How do those stores do versus the company average?
Well, those stores perform, if not at the company average, I think most of them perform above company
That's
average.
what we want.
Those are the classic definition of the third place experience where we bring communities together.
You also are talking about adopting a unit. You're doing 80 hours of military service pay. These are all things that are so far ahead of every other company. I want you to tell them, and then we're going to shame all the other CEOs for not doing it, okay?
All right, Jim.
Tell us about the adopt a unit, which I think is fantastic.
Well, this is where, we have units deployed overseas, and one of the things we want to do is make sure they have good coffee. And so we have contributed, millions and millions of free coffee to our service personnel who are on deployment. And we adopt them, and we keep them in good supply of coffee.
On our show, we care passionately about mental health. We actually celebrated, because we don't mind being out talking about it, May, Mental Health Month. You're the only company I ever heard is willing to actually address this issue. I'm not kidding. Front and center, mental health commitment for veterans.
Well, we had Starbucks partners sort of raise this topic to us just in the last couple of years, not only for veterans, but also just 1 in 5 Americans are suffering from some form of mental health issue. It could be as simple as stress and anxiety. It could be depression, and certainly for those veterans who return from multiple tours of duty, oftentimes they have some unique needs. So as a company, we have announced extending our health care benefits to include mental health and well-being. And much of this is about breaking the stigma of mental health. It's encouraging people to say it's okay to ask for help, and we're going to make sure that we work together to break that stigma, and that we provide those services for all our Starbucks partners, and especially our military veterans.
That's why I know you and I both believe that business can be the greatest force for change in our society. I want to speak about the stock for a second. Kevin, it's down from 99 to 81. I think it's ridiculous. It's almost as if no one listened to that last call. You had a reacceleration on every key line. You have told me that when the stock is a little irrational, you have enough capital to be in there buying it if they won't. Is this an opportunity for Starbucks to retire some stock?
Well, Jim, I think on our earnings call, we also said that we'd return $21 billion of the $25 billion we've committed to our shareholders. And so we've got $4 billion of cash that we are going to return to our shareholders in the form of dividends and buybacks. And I'd say right now is the time to back up the truck and buy that stock.
You better be careful. That is a phrase that people use only when they know that there's a bottom. One last thing. I want to give you, because I know how much, and I want you to do, I typically not do this, to speak for Howard. That's a dangerous thing. Howard never liked me speaking for him. Just tell people how you feel, because I know that I don't want this to be finished, and you say to yourself, you know what, why didn't Jim just give me a chance to address them?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here at the Air Force Academy. And to be able to spend time and have lunch with these cadets and be a part of the experience that's created here. And for me to also host some of our Starbucks partners to be a part of this is fantastic. And so thank you to you and CNBC, and thanks to the Air Force Academy for hosting us today. It's fantastic.
They're up and there. Do they have our holiday cups?
Here they are.
When do we see our holiday cups?
Now, Jim, we set our stores Wednesday night. Holiday cups hit yesterday, and I got to say, day one was pretty good.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And roastery?
We've got a roastery on the horizon. We're going to open the largest Starbucks in the world next week in Chicago.
You going?
In a stunningly designed Starbucks store in an iconic building on Michigan Avenue.
All right.
And I will be there.
All right. I hope you get a little TV from that, and I want to thank you for everything you do. And I do, again, CEOs out there, he just laid it out for you. Just go do it. Kevin Johnson, CEO of Starbucks. Stick with Cramer.
Hi, I'm Chief Bill Doyle. I'm deployed here at Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti, Africa. I'd like to give a shout out to my wife and 3 kids, Jill, Grant, Grace, and Gabby. They're all back in Colorado Springs. I'd also like to give a shout out to all the veterans that are watching, and thank you for your service.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.